Fude lovers, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to show you guys my current angled cheek and face brush collection. Now, at one point, angled brushes were not something that I had in abundance on, but I feel like I've accumulated a pretty decent collection of them. So I just wanted to give some quick comparisons if there's any of these that you guys are interested in, just to see them side by side, see the different hair types. And there is a mix of Japanese brushes in here, as well as some Chinese brushes as well. All right. Oh, and I didn't have time today to include all the measurements for each and every one of these brushes. I know I usually do that for you guys. If I've got time, I will update my description box at some point, but you can definitely look up the measurements for each of these brushes that are still available anyway. And without further ado, so we've got the Rephr 04, which obviously many of you have seen this brush before. And it is goat. Rephr's page doesn't say if it is Saikoho or Sokoho, but I believe it's a mix of both. So this one, of course, you can use with creams and liquids because it's goat, and it's got really nice shape and size. So if you have smaller features, the Rephr 04 is a really nice one. Contour, blush, highlight if you wanted to, like if you use this side for highlight. For me, too big because I have smaller features. So for me personally, I would use this with blush and maybe contour, but I don't really contour that much anymore. Okay, and then the next one, I haven't shown this brand on my channel yet, but I'm very excited to show you guys today. I've been accumulating her brushes for quite some time now, so I'm really excited to start sharing my collection with you guys as I go along. But this is from the brand Kolang Gong. So she is a wonderful artisan. Her craftsmanship is just beautiful. And this has the ox horn handle. Again, Kolinsky hair. And I remember I wasn't a huge fan when I first saw ox horns on Instagram, but when I got my first one, I was super pleasantly surprised by just how beautiful it was in person. Each and every one of these ox horn handles are going to have their own characteristics. No two will be the same. And that's what I think is so cool about them, because they're all unique in their own way. They're just stunning. So back to the brush here, her Kolinsky hair is just beautiful quality, very soft. Oh, I love her Kolinsky hair. I'd say it's very comparable to the ShouShouLang Kolinsky. They have very similar characteristics. I'll do a video at some point comparing them for you guys, the different Kolinsky I have in my collection. But yeah, it's a really nice size. Here it is next to the Rephr. You can see the Kolang Gong is smaller, not as dense as the goat, but of course Kolinsky doesn't fluff out as nearly as much as goat does. So it's going to take on different characteristics, even though they're similar size. Oh, and I meant to mention as well, I'm pretty sure it was Luxury Lover on Instagram, giving her a shout out. She was the first one to show this angled cheek brush, Kolinsky cheek brush, on her page. That's what inspired me to get it. So thank you so much, Luxury Lover, for showing off your beautiful collection. Gorgeous brush. I do not regret that one. And then the next one we have here is the Hakoo B512. So this is a brush loved by many. Blue squirrel and goat mix. And this is another one that is smaller. So if you have smaller features and you don't want a large angled brush, this is a really nice size. And of course, it's very soft. It's going to give you that airbrush look. That's what I love about the goat squirrel mix, is it just gives you that resiliency of the goat, but yet the softness of the squirrel, and it's just lovely. And Hakoo, as I've mentioned many times, bundles their mixes to perfection. And if you're interested, definitely check out my Hakao Blue Squirrel and Goat Mix collection, and you can see them all side by side. But here it is next to the, I'm gonna call it QLG for this, the rest of the video, because her brand is a mouthful to say for sure. But yeah, here it is next to the B512, and you can see they're very similar size, but of course different shapes. They're bundled differently. The Hakao is much thinner at the ferrule. QLG is a little bit thicker, but they just take on different shapes. Hakao is more rounded here, whereas the QLG is more, a little bit sharper. Kolinsky isn't gonna fluff out nearly as much as like a goat squirrel mixed brush would. And then we have the Choto FO4. So this is a brush I'm sure many of you already own. Really nice size Silver Fox cheek brush. Not only is it a lovely size, but it's very dense. See it from its side view. And what I love about Silver Fox is it almost gives me a similar effect as the Goat Squirrel Mix brushes do. It gives me a really airbrush finish, but it does have really nice blending power. So it is going to apply product stronger than, let's say, like an all squirrel brush would. And it's very bouncy. I've said before, Fox is very bouncy, lush and luxurious. Love it. So here it is next to the Hakao B512. Similar size, but again, different shape. The Chikuhodo's a lot more rounded at the top, whereas the Hakao got much more of a blunt angle. And then let's put the QLG next to them, just for comparisons, because these guys are very similar in size. But you can see from here, their densities are quite different. You can really see how dense that Chikuhodo Silver Fox brush is. Very dense compared. But yeah, they're all beautiful. You can't go wrong with either one. It really just depends on the application you're looking for, if you want soft or strong, if you have sensitive skin. If you have sensitive skin, then I would recommend going with Silver Fox or the Goat Squirrel blend. Kolinsky's wonderful. To me, it's a luxurious experience. Great for creams and liquids as well. But if you do have sensitive skin, I mean, her Kolinsky, though, is really nice. So I guess I can't say. I don't have sensitive skin, so I'm not sure. But it is very soft. It's not prickly by any means, but it's not going to be as like fluffy and soft as those two. And then here we have a ShouShouLang Saibikoho Goat angled brush. And this has now been discontinued, but at one point this was on their shop. And as always, I love ShouShouLang's Saibikoho Goat hair. It's just lovely, so soft, so velvety. You can just see how fine those tips are. They're just stunning. So soft and luxurious. And it's definitely unique to my collection. Like if we put it next to the FO4, it's much wider. Wider here, and just the way the angle is, it's so much different. And it's also a lot different than the B512 as well. Just thicker ferrule gives it that thicker body overall. So that would be, this would be a great, you of course could use it for blush, contour. For me, I would really love this with bronzer, I think. You know what's funny? This is what's great about having so many brushes sometimes. I haven't used this brush yet. Oh my gosh. It is relatively new to my collection, so I'm gonna have to give that one a try. It looks like it's gonna be really nice. That's the downside of having so many brushes sometimes, is sometimes Not all of them get as much love as they should, and I'll admit it. It's just impossible. We only have one face, right? So this is the Hakao infamous G552. And this brush, of course, Blue Squirrel Goat Mix. But this brush, and you're gonna see in this video, I have duplicated over and over and over again whenever doing customs. For me, this is the perfect size angled brush. Not too big, not too small. For me, this is one of my all-time favorite, and I don't say that lightly because I have a lot of bronzer brushes. This is one of my all-time favorite bronzer brushes of all time. It just applies bronzer so perfectly. I can use it with any formula. It never lets me down. It's just perfection, absolute perfection. And coming up next here, you're gonna see the 4 custom brushes that I made inspired by the G554 too. So this one I've shown on my channel. This is the Teada 20 AOV 43 EF. So this is European dressed fox. And very, very soft. Now because it's European dressed, the hair is straighter and silkier. So it's not as bouncy, so to speak, as the Chikuhodo. You can really see the coloring difference too. Teada's fox is much darker at the tips, and they don't even necessarily state what kind of fox it is. So as I've mentioned on my channel before, I was having a conversation with some Fude friends, and it does seem as though it's snow fox or Arctic fox, which is fine, completely fine. I love it, actually. That doesn't deter me one bit. It's just beautiful. So because this was crafted after the G554 too, it is also one of my all-time favorite bronzer brushes. Now, even though it was made inspired by the G554 too, you can just see how different they are. Even at the base, the fox is just a little bit thinner. It doesn't poof out as much as like goat squirrel does. And the angle is sharper as well. So this angle looks like it goes up just a little higher than the Hakao. Hakao is a little bit more rounded, where the Teada Fox is a little bit more directional. But I just love this Teada. And Teada does instruct not to wash their brushes when you first receive them, which is really hard because we all want to wash them immediately. And there's a lot of other Fude manufacturers who say you need to wash them, but in this instance, I have not washed this one yet, but I have used it multiple times and it cleans off super nice. I just want that European dress method to last long. I don't want to lose the softness. And you won't, as long as you're careful, you don't overwash these. I would not overwash my Teada Fox at all. At all. I would say not even once a month, to be honest. And all my fox brushes from Teada I have kept incredibly soft, as soft as they were from day one. So that is just my humble opinion. But anyway, next we have the Kolang Gong. This brush, I'm so excited to show you guys. So this one again has the oxhorn handle. You can see it's super beautiful. This is Red Canadian Squirrel. Now, when me and a couple other Fude friends first saw these brushes pop up on Makeup Story Store on AliExpress, before QLG even had her own shop, we were like almost thinking to ourselves, is this too good to be true? Like, is this legit? And oh, is it legit? It started with one, and now I have a whole drawer full, and one day I'll definitely show you guys. I mean, the quality of this Red Canadian Squirrel is just to die for. Look at those bristles. This is honestly my all-time favorite bristle type is Red Canadian Squirrel. And I love White Canadian Squirrel as well, but Red Canadian Squirrel just has a really special place in my heart. I just love it. What's awesome about white Canadian squirrel and red Canadian squirrel is it is very resilient. Like you can see, it bounces right back into shape. Resiliency is wonderful. But it also gives you great blending power. You're not skimping out on that. Incredibly soft. I mean, incredible. I can't even describe it. You only know if you own red Canadian squirrel just how soft it is. And just look at the pattern, the coloring of the hair. It's just beautiful. Stunning. And I love how she gave me a handle to match the hair. It's just so cohesive. So here it is next to the G5542, which this was inspired by as well. So 43 millimeters in length. Same with the Teita and the 5542. And here are the shapes. And again, you can see when squirrel's alone how much thinner it is at the base, whereas this has goat mixed in. So they do take on a little bit different shapes. But she got it very close. I would actually say, and maybe I'm being biased because I just love her brushes so much, that this is the closest dupe that I've created with a brand to the G5542. I mean, you can see right here, it's about to the same point. Let's see. Hakao is just still a little bit rounder, but not by much. They're very, very close. Here they are from the top. You can see the top. That surface area is nearly identical. She nailed it. Oh, and actually, this brush that I customized with QLG, she now has it on her AliExpress shop for sale. I noticed recently that she added it, so that's super exciting. So if you're interested in this custom, you don't even have to go through the customization process. You can simply just go and purchase this right from her store direct, which is awesome. Because if you've customized brushes before, you know how time consuming it is. It's a lot of fun. Great process. And the final results are always so amazing, but it takes time. You know, you go through your collection, you do measurements, and you know, you try to get the brand to get it as close to that brush as you want or the idea you have. So a lot of work and heart goes into making these. Obviously, the artisan does all the work, but as far as getting dimensions and the back and forth contact, it can be a lot. So when I saw this available in her shop, super exciting. And of course, red Canadian squirrel hair is very rare. So if you're looking at purchasing red Canadian squirrel from her, I wouldn't wait too long. I think it'll be okay for a little bit longer, but yeah, this hair type is just super rare, and I never imagined I'd ever have the collection that I do. And it's all thanks to Kolang Gong. It really is. Very thankful for her. All right, and then we have the Teita 20 AOV 43 European dressed Psycho goat. This one I've shown on my channel as well. And again, 43 millimeters in length. It's inspired by the 5542. And these two are actually probably the closest, actually. I forgot about this one. Because this one's all goat, this one's mixed with goat, they definitely take on pretty much identical shapes. Look at that. So yeah, that's the closest. Even to where the ferrule is. This one's a little less dense, but really not by much. At the base, anyway. Yeah, very, very close. Wow. I never realized it till I had them like right next to each other. But of course, see how the all goat flares out just a little bit more, which is normal. That's to be expected. But yeah, this is the only European dress goat I have from Teita. This one I did actually wash. I couldn't help myself because with goat, you really don't get the full potential of the bloom, should we say, until you wash it. So I just had to, and it's still very soft. And regardless, I actually do not wash my Fude that much. I just wipe them off on a microfiber towel in between uses, and then as I rotate, then I'll do like a wash. But I don't I definitely don't wash any of them more than once a month, ever. Just to help keep this, preserve them and keep the softness. And then, yeah, I've got the custom engraving with my name and brush code. But yeah, so that one's lovely. And I'll put this one next to the QLG as well. Yeah, this one's the closest to the 5542, but they all behave very similarly. And just having one of my favorite brush shapes in my collection and all sorts of different hair, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that in my opinion. It really doesn't. All right, making way here, guys. If you're still watching, thank you very much. I know this is a long video. Lots of brushes to go through, but this is my custom ShouShouLang, Kolinsky, and Saipikohogo mix. I have shown this on my channel before, but this is now washed and bloomed, and I've used it so you can see how much fluffier it is now. And this brush is just beautiful. It's 60% Kolinsky, 40% Saipikohogo, and you guys, I really hope ShouShouLang gets more Kolinsky in stock because I miss customizing Kolinsky brushes with them, especially this hair mix. Like, just look how perfect it's bundled. Very, very similar to how Hakao bundles. And you can see the resiliency goes right back. Ugh, just gorgeous. So when they do get Kolinsky again, I keep asking. When they do, I will definitely update you guys. Here it is next to QLG. And then here it is next to the European Dressed Goat. And the ShouShouLang definitely flares out a little bit more. I just love how each and every one of these has their own characteristics. Yeah, see, this is more of like a bulb, whereas this one kind of tapers a little bit more. So yeah, it's just pretty neat having literally almost the same shape, just in different hair types. Here it is next to the Fox. Yeah, you can really see the surface area of the ShouShouLang here. However, if you keep it in a brush guard, which I did for quite some time, it won't fluff out as much. And it'll look much more directional, like the Teita or even this QLG. So it all depends on how you store it. I like it fluffed out. I just love the way it applies my bronzer. I love this brush with bronzer. Because you have that mix of the Goat and Kolinsky, it's just a match made in heaven. Airbrush look every single time. If you have this mix that you've purchased from my ShouShouLang collection, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like one of those things you don't even know until you try. But yeah, really stunning. All right, and then we're making it to the Hakao S531, which is also now known as the G531, I believe. My old one is B531. I have older inventory. But this is in there, a beautiful vermilion handle. I absolutely love Hakahodo's vermilion handles. They're just stunning. Now, I don't want a lot of them because I get nervous. If you drop them, they're very delicate. So I have to be very careful in the way I store them. And yeah, they're not, in my opinion, this is like a collector's piece. I still use it, of course, but you know, it's like you're more careful with it, so it's not really like an everyday, which is why I have it in the standard black handle as well. And you can see, even though they're the same brush, slightly different, right? I mean, not much, but average person would probably say, Nikki, you're crazy. They're the same. Yeah, they are, pretty much. But yeah, I just wanted one in the black. I actually got the black handle first, and I wanted a brush in the vermilion handle, and this is another one of my all-time favorite bronzer brushes in my collection, so, oh, just gorgeous. And this one, very soft. You can see how fine the hairs are. Hakahodo's Goat, really great quality. And let's compare it with the Teita European Dressed Goat. So these two, yeah, Hakahodo's a little bit, maybe tiny bit more, not by much. maybe not. I was thinking it would be longer in length, but yeah, so these two are actually pretty similar. 531 has just a little more surface area, but really not by much. And here are the hairs compared. And softness, wow, I would say they're pretty much identical. Yeah, I would say they're pretty much identical. So if you're interested in Takeda's European dress Saikoho Go or Hakahodo, honestly, they feel very similar. And you can see too, the coloring is a little bit different, but they both have like almost like that translucency at the tips. And that's how you know it's gonna be a really soft goat brush. Okay, and then we've got the Sonia G Face Pro. So this is a mix of dyed and undyed Saikoho Goat. And this is a great brush. I know a lot of you guys probably have this one in your collection. Sonia's had this brush out for a very, very long time. And I actually have two of these. And when I first got into collecting, I got duplicates of a lot of brushes. Now I wish I didn't because of storage purposes. So I'll probably end up selling some of my duplicates, but nonetheless, this brush is very soft. And because it's dyed and undyed, it's actually really good at picking up baked gelée products because the dyed bristles actually give it a lot of grip and the blending power is really nice, but it doesn't sacrifice the softness at all. Here it is next to the 531. Very, very similar size, shape. And 531 is a little bit more surface area though, not by much. Compare it with my ShouShouLang. Yeah, see how much more the ShouShouLang flares out? It really flares out quite a bit. That's why I love it. It's just so much different than my other angled brushes. QLG Red Canadian. And then we'll do it here. European dressed goat. Might as well just make our way down the line. And then the Takeda silver or European dressed fox. You can see how much more surface area the Sonia G has. And then of course the infamous Hakao G554 too. And yeah, the Sonia G, this is great for, the reason I had to is I love this for both powder and bronzer. So I had one designated for bronzer and one designated for powder, and it does a really good job. It's a great brush if you're just getting into Fude too, because Sonia's pricing is really, really fair in my opinion. All right, you guys, last but not least, we made it. We got the ShouShouLang from their Zuvmore series. This is the Z04. This is Red Squirrel. So this brush is going to give us the lightest application out of all these brushes that I showed today. So incredibly soft. This is probably the softest one and the finest one. So you can really see, well, the resiliency is not too bad actually on this one, but the snapback is obviously, you can tell it's not as thick and dense and plush as some of the other ones. This one I have used with bronzing and powder, and I've also kept this one in a brush guard. So if you see on my Instagram, it is a lot more flared out and fluffy because I didn't have it in a brush guard initially, but for storage purposes, it's now been in a brush guard, so it's not as fluffy. But let's compare it with the QLG Red Canadian. So you can see these two at the base are very similar densities because they're both squirrel. And the surface area is pretty similar as well. Here they are. Now, of course, the shapes are different. And again, the ShouShouLang fluffs out a lot more. Yeah, let's see. Softness. Yeah, you can see See how quickly the ShouShouLang bounces back compared to the QLG? Yeah. So you can tell the QLG Red Canadian Squirrel is going to have more resiliency and give you better blending power. But if you like a nice light veil, then the ShouShouLang Red Squirrel is great. And right now, this brush specifically is sold out at the time I'm filming this, but you can always customize with ShouShouLang if you want a brush similar to this. They can definitely customize it for you, especially if you have sensitive skin. Their Red Squirrel is really nice. Very, very soft, fine, and just beautiful. It gives a really nice finish. And even though it's, you know, not as strong of a bristle type, for some reason it just always does a great job with my bronzer anyway. I really like it a lot. Really nice. All right, you guys, so we officially made it. And if you watched this whole video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You hanging with me today. And yeah, so I will, if I get some time, I will update my description box with the dimensions. Obviously, these guys are going to be similar in dimensions. These guys will be similar. So if you look up one or the other, you'll get a basic idea of the size. But anyway, that should do it. But if you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down below. Do you guys own any of these brushes? Do you see any favorites? And yeah, definitely leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear you guys' favorite angled brushes as well. I always like to hear other Fude enthusiasts' favorite brushes from certain angles or certain brush shapes. It's been long. I'm like not even losing my ability to talk here. But yeah, again, I'm excited to show you guys my Kolang Gong collection as I go, so definitely stay tuned. And again, yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will definitely see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.